Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, B-Fan Podcast. Thank you for listening to another episode, and as always, thank you for giving me your time. Today I'm here with...
Jonathan Hennock, Johnny.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Johnny.
I'm a freshman here at USC. I study econ, and I like to hoop. I like watching NBA. And, I'm friends with, shout out, over here to Austin, bro.
What made you want to get into econ? Because anytime I hear econ, it's like a science, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, in a sense, it's a social science, especially here.
So what drew you towards it?
When I was gonna go to my junior year in high school, I took this macro course. It was this extension course at Harvard, right? And and I really love my professor.
Yeah.
So it was during COVID, and I did it during the summers online.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to fly out there, but pandemic, right?
Oh, that's
Yeah, but I learned so much from her, and I just really wanted to learn more about it because it was just very surface level that I got out of that.
Yeah.
So I just told myself from then on, which is about 2 years ago now,
This is it.
I want to lock in on this.
What do you want to do with it, though?
I probably want to go to investment banking with it.
IB?
Yeah.
Where at?
Man, if I could Goldman or JP, you got to shoot for the
JP Morgan Chase.
You got to shoot for the stars, yeah.
Yeah.
And then land on the moon.
Yeah. Have you been working on those introduction internships and stuff?
Yeah.
Because I know somebody that you can go to.
Oh,
if you really want to get an IB,
bro.
Yeah, I got you. I'll shoot it to you.
Because I've been trying to expand my network. And everything, yeah.
So outside of econ at school, do you study economics just
by myself
on your own? Just be chilling. Just fuck it, economic time.
No, for real. I mean, to be honest with you, besides outside reading Wall Street and watching CNBC, there's only so much you can do and read.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, on my spare time, especially with that, my main thing is trying to learn the jargon.
Oh, it's because it is a new language.
It's another language. Yeah, exactly.
Teach us some. What you got? What's for what?
Oh man, I mean, what can I say? How what can I teach you? I mean, you're in Marshall as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I read Wall Street Oasis and stuff like that, what I try to look at is different trends in stocks and stuff, and why companies shareholders are doing types of actions in certain ways, because that's kind of what we do in general, right? We live in a world where especially in IB and stuff, economics and law kind of mesh together.
Yeah.
So my main thing is just understanding why things are happening the way they are, why are trends the way they are, when are we going to go into recession, right?
Yeah.
In business cycle, because Europe, China now, they're all kind of already ahead of the curve on us, and we're next, in my opinion.
For what?
To get in a recession, probably around I would say by the time the election goes around, it's really there's a high chance of us, probably getting into some type of trouble. A term that I learned is this is more from my dad as well. There's certain events that they call black swan effect events.
Okay.
And a black swan is something that's unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's World War II. It's COVID.
Yeah.
It's the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
The Great Depression. It's not something you predict.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, COVID shook up the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a black swan.
Yeah.
So there's so much stuff, because that's the beauty of life, right? You don't know what the future is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so hard to predict how the market's going to act, right? Because you don't know when the next, world is ending.
Big thing.
Exactly.
Or
yeah.
do we? But you talked about COVID.
Right.
How did COVID impact you? Because I know it was different for a lot of different people. How did it impact you?
No, absolutely. And you can touch on this too, because I'm actually curious. But for me, at least, I took advantage of it.
Yeah.
I really did. I think, in a sense, even academically, and trying to learn more about myself, really, because you're detached from everyone. And, it definitely matured me quicker. It made me more to myself, and whatever craft I had going on. Right?
Yeah, what's something new that you picked up to do, like that you was like, fuck it, this is just what I want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I would say I got into lifting heavily
Yeah.
during that time. I was never into lifting. It was just hoop, right? And then I would say during COVID, I actually really, really wanted to learn about working on my body.
Yeah.
And
like inside and out.
Yeah.
What's some things you learned for the inside? Because
I mean,
we can guess the outside. Just
right.
lived in the weights. What on the inside took you like? This is like something I really want to pay attention to.
Yeah, like one thing could be like nutrition and just like actually tracking what you eat. That was like something I was fascinated.
Really?
Yeah, and just like eating cleaner. But I would say, especially during COVID, it was more or less that I always had like bad hips.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense where I could
tell you about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
I think every athlete has, honestly, to be honest.
Just some horrible hits.
Oh, on me, yeah.
Yeah.
But because of that, I think that's where it came from, because I really wanted to open my mobility in there.
Mhm.
And going to the gym, that was part of the goal, trying to just get overall healthier.
Understand you.
Exactly.
So you took care of the body. What about the mind? Did you do anything new for the mind?
One would be walking. I would actually, that's crazy now you say that. I tried getting into like meditation.
Yeah.
I really tried.
It just wasn't for you?
No, it wasn't necessarily that. It's more something that I turn to when I'm in a dark place.
I get that.
Right.
Because when everything gets like super loud, you're like, let me just center back, get back to it, and then start to go out.
No, literally. I mean, both of my parents are from Ethiopia, and when the pandemic hit, I mean, it was all mayhem. I mean, I couldn't even shoot in the driveway. That's how freaked out my parents were, and I don't blame them. Like they're only trying to like protect what's theirs, and
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was just such a bizarre time for everyone, because nobody knew how to really move at all.
Or what was gonna happen next?
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy to think about. Like, that's like a big event. Like COVID was like huge. Like, to us it may seem like, oh, it happened and then it went by, but like we don't realize that's like damn near the same thing as like the Great Depression almost. Like,
no, seriously, yeah.
And then like the Great Depression wasn't that long ago either.
No, for real.
Like something I was talking about yesterday is like we like not that far into history. Like we haven't been here that long. Like we look up and we be like, oh, this happened so long ago, but we like, nigga, 300 years is not that long. Like think about the average age of a person. One of my friends was telling me this. Say the average age, somebody gets up to like 80. Yeah. If you're talking about 300 years ago, 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus, that's 4 people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of gens, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a lot of, it's 4 gens. It's like, you can like still like, you still probably have like a lot of traits from your great like grandma. Like it's crazy to think about. We still learning as humans, and we feel like we should be so far, but we still learning. It's so much. So yeah, we don't have flying cars today, but it could be possible that within the next few hundred years that we have like flying cars if we're still here. But like, it's just so much for us to learn, and we just feel like, oh, we're already gonna die. Everything's gonna go to shit. But like,
no, for real, yeah.
Do you think people back then were thinking the same thing? Because do you think they had a grasp on life that it was like, oh, history is so far behind? Like, what did they know? Who's? I don't think they started at the ground level.
Right.
So they had to be thinking the world was coming to an end as well.
Yeah. No, you can go back to different times where, people thought the world was, I mean, we can go to World War II, right?
Go ahead,
with like Hitler and all, and all, what Europe really went through and stuff. So you can go back in time. I mean, there's always been, things that were like, on the verge of ending countries.
Yeah.
A certain, types of people and everything. So I think it's something that we're probably going to end up, cycling through again. Because, people say, oh, we learn history to learn from our past and stuff.
Oh, you know why it's so hard, though?
It repeats.
Bro, this is why. I read this book called, what's that book called? The Fourth Turning.
Okay, talk to me.
So basically, in The Fourth Turning, they were talking about history will continue to repeat itself until we learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
But in America, it always seems to repeat itself because we're never actually learning from it because of the way Americans see time.
Exactly.
So we see time as a linear event.
Right.
So we don't think to connect the Great Depression to fucking COVID. We don't think to connect the Black Plague to the Great Depression, shit like that.
Yeah.
So we think all these events are happening individually at one time, and
which is crazy.
But when you really sit down and analyze these events, they really have some of the same components leading up and to what happened after. It's called the fourth turning because it's like the basis of the book is that life is cyclical nature. So it repeats itself, and then when the circle is complete, we're supposed to move on. That's when you got that linear period.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had a fucking whiteboard in here so I could draw it. But it's like that linear period, and then the cycle starts again. It's almost like a roller coaster. You know how the roller coasters got the loop?
Right.
So we're stuck in like an infinite like feedback loop because we're like, oh, this has nothing to do with 30 years ago. This is nothing.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going. But since we're not picking up on the pattern, it's gonna keep happening to us. But one thing that made sense to me is like, how are we gonna call it a linear pattern and say nothing is connecting to anything if we celebrate the same holidays every year? That's the cycle. That's a cycle in itself.
No, that got me thinking.
The seasons are a cycle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we start in the winter and we end in the winter. It's a fucking like.
Yeah.
It's actually a pattern because it begins and ends with the same thing, and then in between is the same order of stuff.
Right. No, that's crazy you say that because like you said the fourth turning.
Yeah, the fourth turning.
I think my dad read that book. I'm not even
so
gonna lie because it's like talking about like every 20 years, right?
Yeah, every like 20, 25 years, and then 100 years. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No. Like I don't know much about it.
You don't know much about it,
but he was explaining to me about it and how like each chapter was like different events in American history and stuff. So I want to look into that now. Yeah, it's actually really interesting.
And we never gonna like pick up on it until we like change our worldview of it.
Right. Yeah.
And not even worldview. We're like the only ones like that don't think like that, because if you think about Asian religion, like Buddhism, all that shit, they talk about the circle of life.
Yeah.
They say we continue to be born again, which is what's that called?
A reincarnation.
Yeah, reincarnation. We continue to be reincarnated to learn the same lesson in life, and it's a series of lessons that you have to learn, like individually.
Mm-hmm.
And once you learn them, that's when you go to the higher land or the higher consciousness or the different plane or whatever. But you're gonna keep coming back until you learn that lesson.
Mm-hmm.
They already got a little hook on it, like they way ahead of us, so we could be further if we weren't so rash in how we were thinking.
That's true. Yeah.
It's crazy. But like, if you weren't in school, what do you think you would be doing right now?
Oh boy.
I know that was like a big turn from like the fourth turning to like that was a big curveball right there.
Yeah,
but like,
no, it is.
Just think, if you weren't in school,
you know,
what do you think you would be doing?
It's so hard for me. You know, I think I would probably want to be a commentator for the NBA.
Yeah, how would you get there? How do you think
something involved with the league?
Yeah,
because
like a sports analyst,
right?
Those are so cool.
It can be ESPN or actually being an actual player or
starting somewhere.
Yeah, because I just love talking about basketball. I really do.
Yeah,
and I think it would be something related to that because we don't really think about, especially like here in USC, you don't think about what you would do if you're outside of school because
you always in it.
Exactly. Yeah. So why would you think of something that's like Plan Z to you?
Yeah.
Right?
So like that'll never happen. I'll always be in school, but this shit can end tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can get kicked out for no reason till like tomorrow.
No, I know.
And they don't owe you like a single explanation.
Right. Like, isn't that the beauty of life though?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like shit can turn just like that.
And
go ahead.
It can be anything. It can even be your own health.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how much I value being like healthy? There's a guy, right now, maybe like it can be, in Kaiser or St. Jude that wants to have the life that I have right now.
Yeah.
And
we just treat our lives like they're not. We take too much advantage of like what's going on around us, and I feel like
we're selfish.
We're all selfish and ungrateful in a sense, and not even selfish as in like selfish. It's so hard to define selfish too.
No, I agree.
Because you feel like, oh, I want to keep this to myself.
Right.
Is that selfish?
No.
I don't want to share this. Is that selfish? I feel like it's selfish when you...
There's levels to it.
Yeah, I feel like it's selfish when you don't use all of your ability to be all of you that you can possibly be.
Right.
You can be selfish from yourself. It's not necessarily like you're taking from the world by not putting yourself in it.
Mm-hmm.
By sitting in the corner, you're being selfish.
Right.
Go and help, because it's like, what else is there to do? We live to die. Like,
Right.
I don't want to say like, oh, we're here for no reason, but we do essentially live to die. We all come in this motherfucker the same way, and we all leave the same way.
The same way. Yeah.
So we might as well help each other while we're here.
Right.
If not, you can just die early. I mean,
Yeah, no,
Yeah, go
literally.
ahead.
But like one thing I did peep was like we take things for granted, right? As
Mhm.
obviously as people. But have you noticed this? Like it can be anybody close, a family member, they're like really, really sick, right? Everybody's in the hospital, all that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, I would do anything for this guy to be healthy again,
yeah.
right? And all that, right? Sooner or later, months go by, he starts feeling better, and everybody forgets about it.
How he was like fucking on the
Yeah.
brink of death.
He was literally
Yeah,
he was in ICU for how many weeks, and then he's all fine, right, recovering, going back to work.
And we just forget.
Where are you?
Yeah.
I find that so weird. Like that's a human thing because
Mhm.
we take things for granted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's crazy because as cliche as this sounds, you don't really know how good something is until you're without it.
exactly, yeah,
Like even like stuff at home, I don't miss home as a whole. There's nothing there in Detroit for me at least.
right,
But it's shit that I had, and it's like, damn,
yeah.
I truly did like that person.
You
I
don't realize
did-
until you lose it.
Yeah, so it's like you start to value more things without.
Yeah,
But I feel like that's so bad in a sense because sometimes that shit not coming back. Like
Yeah.
even when people like pass away,
yeah,
you got to give people their flowers when they're here, and that's something that I'm trying to learn more often because I can get into these modes where it's like I'll be mad at somebody and then I'll just be mad
Yeah.
at them, but like deep down I know if some shit was to happen to them,
You'd be
wouldn't-
hurt.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel.
Yeah.
Like,
That's why I feel like holding grudges is just so asinine because
so dumb.
life is so short.
Yeah, we're
You
not here
know,
for that long.
We're not here
dog.
for that long, you know. Holding grudges on people, and
Just hating people for no reason.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Just let that shit fly.
I know, and that's why I hate it. Sometimes, it can be a friend or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to see you be more successful than them in any way. Nobody wants to see you up. They're not gonna say it to your face, but
Yeah,
that's the reality of it.
it hurts because they feel like if you get up, you're gonna forget them.
Exactly, but why?
Yeah,
You know? And I just see when I observe that, it makes me like question a thing or two, obviously, because now like we're in the real world now. We're freshmen, and we're seeing everyone coming from different backgrounds. You're from Detroit. I'm
Mhm.
from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I have a different background and perception of life, and you do as well.
Yeah.
Right. So, when you clash with different backgrounds and perspectives with people, on this campus, you learn a thing or two, and it can be either good or bad, really.
it's bittersweet almost.
Yeah.
'Cause you're like, damn, I wish I didn't learn that about that person,
Yeah.
but I'm glad I did
Right.
because you just never know how people moving. But
No.
it's hard to stay mad at people when you understand what they've like been through. You don't need the whole fucking biography on them, like their whole background story.
Absolutely.
But as long as you understand, like, oh, he grew up, father wasn't there. Oh, she grew up, had troubles with her mom. So
Yeah.
that's why she goes out every night because she doesn't have any sense of, not solidarity, but any sense of centeredness.
Agreed.
She
Yeah.
always feels rattled. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He didn't grow up in a stable household, so that's why he's out here with every woman he sees because he's
Yeah.
looking for that love he wish he had from his mom.
Yeah.
So it's deeper than surface level in what we think. And for us to get mad at people for just fucking up, like
Yeah.
it's just a fuck up.
Yeah.
It's everybody's first time here. So why are we so mad?
Right.
Why am I so angry at somebody else for something they didn't even know that they was doing?
Yeah.
And I feel like when people say, "Oh, if the mistake happens twice, it's not a mistake."
Because
But-
we're not perfect either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I feel like if the mistake happens twice, it's not a mistake. It's so limiting in definition because if you didn't learn from the mistake the first time, of
Mhm.
course you're gonna keep making the same mistake. Cyclical nature. But once you learn from it and then you make that decision again, it's not oh, that's on him. It's okay. So why did he do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why does he feel like since he's learned it or she's learned it, why do they feel the need to go back to the same repeated action?
Right.
Because I'm sure a lot of people understand that if you want different results, do something different.
Yeah.
Some people are like so boneheaded that they understand where they're going wrong,
Yeah.
but they'll continue to choose the same route, looking for a different answer because they just want it to work so bad.
Right.
This is the way it has to work.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault. That was
Yeah.
imprinted in them.
Yeah.
Because when I think about, what was I thinking about? I was talking about the fucking news. The news is like so scary and demeaning. Like, I just can't watch the news. Like, I will not watch the news. You be like, oh, did you see? No, I didn't see it because I don't really care. I feel like the news is here to like just send bad vibes out into the world.
Yeah.
Because listen, we got like what 50 different broadcast
I
channels
mean,
saying the same shit.
they're a company as well. You have to think of it
Yeah.
as a business.
It's entertainment.
It's exactly what it is. I mean,
Because think about it. I'm sorry to cut you
no,
off.
go
but
ahead, go ahead.
Think of what they highlighting though. How many times do you see the Nobel Peace Prize winner
Oh no.
of the year? How many times do you see somebody helping cancer patients? How many times do you see them highlighting somebody using nanotechnology to help
Oh, yeah.
figure out what the cure to cancer is? How many times do you see them highlight the good? They always highlight the bad. Every time I turn the news on in Detroit, on Detroit's east side, on Detroit's west side,
Yeah.
at 3:00 this morning,
'Cause
somebody
people
was
want to
shot.
see that apparently. Yeah.
Not even that, but they want to strike fear in you
Yeah.
to like not go outside.
Yeah.
They don't want you to connect with those around you and make you feel like your community is a danger to everywhere.
Right.
And that's how they like. It's almost like when companies get rid of unions.
Mm-hmm.
When you get rid of unions, you don't have problems anymore.
Yep.
If the country can get rid of people bonding together and actually connecting, you don't have a problem anymore.
Right.
You don't risk people rebelling against the
Backlash.
government. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People won't step up to something if they're not banded together.
Right.
They'll use hate to drive people away from each other and then take away the common goal that would bring people together. They fuck with our head.
They do.
And it's actually crazy because
Yeah.
I feel like another thing I was saying is I feel like we could really learn from how kids act because they have no biasness in
Right.
how they're acting, especially in
It's
their
pureness.
yeah,
Yeah.
in their younger ages. So really see and understand how a child is reacting to something.
Right.
If a child is scared of the news, that's not something that should be displayed. Because what the
That's
fuck?
a good way to put it. Yeah.
How old do you have to be to watch the news? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why does the news have a fucking TV rating? Why is it
Yeah.
PG-13? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You should be able to turn the news on. A kid can feel scared at something else, but it also should have something that's going to make him happy. I shouldn't turn the fucking TV off feeling like, oh, I'm going to die tomorrow.
Yeah.
I should turn the TV off like, damn, I can't wait to go outside. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, the highlighted news for me be like the weather and shit. Like, I'd be like, all right, what's today going to be like?
Yeah. And for me, it's like there's a lot of stuff that happens in the world. Like we're really fortunate to live here.
Yeah,
I would
like where
say.
we at? Yeah.
Especially because I see it in the sense of I know where my family's from, right?
Yeah.
There's you can look at Ukraine, you can look at the Israel-Palestine conflict, you can look
Crazy.
at a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and even in Ethiopia, you could see a lot of ethnic groups clashing and a lot of war-ridden places there, and you hear a lot of stuff and stories from your family and all that, and you're really grateful to be here. Like my dad always says, being born in this nation is a lottery in a sense,
Yeah.
because there's only 300 million of us here, and the rest of the world is almost pushing probably 8 billion.
Yeah,
right?
it's like,
Yeah,
a lot more. People don't realize a lot more countries are like way more
Yeah.
populated.
right.
People we have a bubble here in a sense. Like
Oh, yeah.
this is just like
No, literally.
you get stuck in this bubble and then you never travel out to other worlds. And I mean, yeah, you see Instagram, you see somebody, oh, these other countries are so nice, but nigga,
Don't get me started onto social media though.
go ahead,
No.
get into it. We can get into it.
I mean, man, it's just like it's only a highlight of whatever your life really
Good.
is.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's where people mental health start to decline in a sense, because you're comparing something that's straight vanity, really.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I mean, even on my phone, we're college students, we're busy people, right? We only, at least for me, I can speak for myself. I only use my phone only so much because, that the outside world, after some degree, doesn't really mean much to my life, right? The people around me that I see face to face, that matters to me, right? What I have, throughout my day and whatever program I have going on, that matters to me. My family matters to me, right? Some model from Tampa doesn't really impact my life.
She's not even here, or they're not even here. So it's like, what the fuck? But people get so caught in that.
Oh yeah,
I value human connection over anything else, and then I feel like,
and we're losing that in this world,
dude. It's so insane.
Yeah, we are.
People have no People be like, oh, it's so easy to talk to people.
No. Yeah.
Because even when you look at them, you don't even feel the urge to want to connect anymore.
Right. Because we're getting jaded.
Yeah, I don't even feel excited to meet people anymore, because when I look at them, I'm just like, bro, I don't like how you're moving.
That's not good.
Yeah. I don't like your vibes. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a vibe that brings me to you, I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
Because I already know that if I engage in a conversation with you, you're not gonna seem truly interested. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I agree with that, because I think one skill, a common sense skill that's really valuable, I think today, is being able to read the room.
Yeah. Get into it.
Being able to read the room. There's so many people. I mean, I can go on forever about this, where, there's just some people that can't understand body language, right? That can't understand eye contact, what's being said without being said, right? And I think that's just an important skill to have, in the mind.
Well, just
right.
For me and you understand reading the room, but
right.
people listening might not understand what reading the room is.
So okay.
Just get into it just a little bit.
Basically, right? Let's say you meet somebody, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking with them and anything. They start looking, let's say their eye to the left as they're talking. They break eye contact, right? They're looking to the left, to the ground, and all that, right? A fake smile pops in there. You're like, oh, okay, shit, right? Yeah. So you're like, you might not know the person, right? But I think that's what, in a sense, vibes are, right?
Yeah.
It's just when you click with somebody,
it happens naturally.
It happens naturally.
People don't understand when you gotta force the connection, bruh. It's so frail, and I'd rather not talk to anybody than force myself to be around everybody.
Right.
But
just like me and you having a conversation right now, right? We're just crossing each other. We're just free flowing right now.
Yeah,
there's nothing,
just talking. There's nothing holding us back. There's no bounds.
Exactly.
We both understand that we don't have to be here right now.
Right.
And we both choose to be in accordance to be here right now because we have a commonality. We both want to talk and share shit with the world.
Yeah. Why do you think first impression is so important? Because that's what brings people back to even talk to you in the first place.
And not even first impression, the first feeling that you give somebody.
Absolutely.
Where do you leave? Oh, the last impression as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you first start the conversation, okay, if you fuck up, it's a high chance that you may fuck up.
Yeah.
And you might not get it right on the first try.
Right.
But if you can close, they'll forget everything that happened in the beginning.
Right. Yeah. And, that's something, I think reading the room is built by meeting a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
That being social, putting yourself out there, right?
Yeah.
You can be an introvert and understand that. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Because some people choose to be introverts, and it's not like they always their whole life, hate it.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Right. No, literally. Some people, choose to be, the way they are, and that's perfectly fine. I completely relate to that.
Because we need people like that in the world.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you're a product of your
environment.
Right. And you're literally the average of the 5 people you surround yourself the most with.
Man.
And I've heard that my whole life at home, and I always thought it was bullshit.
Yeah.
Boy.
It's not.
Nah.
Because I'm telling you, it's actually insane. Because you'll find yourself around these people, and then you...
Because you don't see yourself changing. That's the dangerous part.
And, a lot of people just won't see themselves change. I'm sure you would, because you have this sense of self that a lot of people don't really have. You're able to you're able to look. I'm sure you're able to look at yourself and be like, all right, this is not me. This is not something that I'm used to doing.
Right.
I'm straying away. Now, what's causing this? You're able to ask the questions. Some people fall into it and then just never understand what's going on, and then it just change them. They just morph into this other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it takes, I mean, for majority of people, it takes somebody that, they haven't seen in a year or two to tell them that, right?
Yeah.
To be just a straight arrow and tell them, hey, like,
nigga, you changed.
yeah, like,
Well, like
what you doing? Like,
man, because I see, but like I see people like they going through stuff and I'll be like, damn, that's not the person I knew. You know what I mean? It's like, I wonder what happened to make them want to change and to do that.
Right.
It's not necessarily bad because I'm not them and they're not me. And they may have to go through different things to learn life lessons that I learned through different ways.
Right.
Everybody has their own path. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing I always think about, though, is like, they say we are always influenced by the people that we're around. I asked this question to somebody once. I said, when does it become that the people you are around are influenced by you? How do you know that you are the person that people are modeling themselves towards and after? We always phrase the statement in a way that it's like, oh, I have to be the one to change. The other people aren't changing.
Right.
What type of position do you have to be in to be the person that people look up to and change after? And that can be a blessing and a curse, because if you're a good person, it's good for those people. But even if you're a good person, it'll be hard to shape yourself because you're in an environment where everything is tailored towards you.
No, absolutely, yeah.
I like to go into environments where not shit tailored towards me, and I get it to work in my favor almost.
Right.
I don't go in looking to manipulate people, but I go in looking for people that can help me look better.
Right.
That can help me feel better.
To raise you up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't
have yes men.
Yeah,
if
you're the person, if you realize that you're the person in the circle that people always saying yes to, it's time to leave that circle.
Yeah.
You're eventually gonna plateau. It's gonna feel good, you're gonna be on a high, but with every high comes a crash.
They're gonna drag you back like a rubber band. That's how it is.
Yeah. And not even on purpose, but that's just because
and naturally. Yeah.
Once they stop moving, that's how it is. It's like you're moving with a rubber band. You could be moving at the same speed and the rubber band doesn't stretch. But once they stop growing and you're trying to continue to grow, that's when the rubber band keep going.
Yep.
And it's only going to get so far between either they let go or you let go. And if they let go, good, because you're going to fly forward.
Right.
If you let go,
you're
going to fly back to where you were. Now you got to recover that ground.
And you've probably, like, I know I've experienced this, but you probably, like, even back home in Detroit, like, I could imagine, you outgrowing people, right?
Yeah.
It naturally happens. And it's tough, especially when you're like you have a good heart and everything to let go of people. I'd say, I think the main thing I would say is just like being able to accept it in a sense where like you have to ask those tough questions to yourself, like, am I the problem?
Yeah,
because I think that like we don't have enough of that to where like you're able to say sorry, you're able to
apologize.
Right.
Yeah, see where you're going wrong.
Exactly.
It's so easy to be like, oh, he did this.
Right.
She did that. They did this.
So
they don't like me. They never invite me anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, nigga, probably because you never around. You know what I mean? Like, people can have their own assumptions as well.
Right.
We always have our own assumptions, but we never think about what the other person may be thinking.
Right.
And that comes, it's like a double-edged sword to think like that.
I agree.
Because you could go, oh, I'm thinking this, but what if they're thinking that? And then you trick yourself into not doing an action. But if you're able to find a good little balance, like in the middle where it's like, okay, I'm observing this, but what am I doing myself that could maybe cause them to feel this way?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's just something that shows maturity. I think everyone here, especially on this campus, they're learning something about themselves this semester, right? Everybody's reflecting on, what they had back home, and then you're put in a place where, these aren't people you grew up with.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore, you know? And it's just so important to understand that more than even applying that, in my opinion, because you start to understand your environment, one, and two, who your people are going to end up being, because now you have an identity. You know who you are. Yeah. And I think that's just like, especially being here, like, in LA, and there's a lot of temptations around us, right?
And the city moves so fast. I need people to understand that. It's
No.
probably one of the most fast-paced
Yeah.
cities
No,
you
touch
can
on
be
that.
in.
Yeah.
Even in observing, so we're in South Central,
Yeah.
and South Central is almost like Detroit in a sense, as
Yeah.
in like environment and such. Oh my god, I wish
Yeah.
I don't like that I don't understand like. So like in Detroit, I can go to the suburbs, right?
Yeah. You know everything.
But I still understand like
yeah.
the hood part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't understand this hood though.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to. That's the thing.
Right.
I don't want to fall into it,
Yeah.
but you never see them because, okay, when you're thrown on this campus, you're put into this bubble,
Right.
and this bubble is like right like in the middle of the hood. Like my high school was like that. Like you get into this bubble, but you like right in the middle of the hood.
Yep.
You in this bubble, and you always hear about the bad stuff going on, but you never see the people. Like the closest like I've ever gotten to it is probably actually no. One guy ran up on me. It wasn't crazy, but he was just a cool guy. But he was just talking to me like he's like this South Central, like this and that. I'm 31. I've been in jail 3 times, and I'm just listening to him. I'm like, hey, I'm hearing you,
Hey,
like,
man.
and those are the type of people, but they can see something in you that you can't see in yourself.
Right. I can tell you a thing or two because I grew up here. Right.
Yeah, okay.
So I knew this area. I wouldn't say obviously deep, but especially around USC, it's changed in the past 10 years. It's been very gentrified.
And this fucking sucks because
it's different.
You want to.
Right.
I just like to understand the roots of where
I'll give you a good example.
Go ahead.
So, do you know Inglewood, right?
Yeah.
So Inglewood was a very black neighborhood.
Hell yeah.
Very. I mean, I had family there and all that. So when SoFi, this is a good example. SoFi, right?
Stadium, yeah.
Right. Construction started working. Rent shot
Up through the roof because they got to.
Everybody just started panicking, right?
People don't understand because
People started getting
they
got to
look for. I'm sorry.
Go
but
ahead.
people don't understand that this rent goes up because these the people that's like owning the stadium,
Yeah.
they're not paying for the stadium out their
no.
ass.
Yeah.
They're getting a fat ass loan from the bank, right? And when what they doing is they try to buy up the property around
Yep.
so they can help get money to pay back the loan and then make income on top of that. But they not really getting income until the building is paid off. And you paying off the building by the rent going up, so you're paying them. And then the only profit that they can really actually kind of make is maybe off the ticket sales.
Yeah.
But even with the ticket sales, the players still got to get paid. The NBA got to get a cut. Any broadcasting studio got to get the cut. So it's like these rent prices is going up because you paying for the building.
No, literally.
So if you vote for the building to come, nigga, you paying for it at the same time. But they try to, oh my God. Never mind. I'm going to learn something. It's something I want to read. It's a book I want to read. It's called Double Speak. And when I read it, I'm going to talk about it because I feel like exactly what I just said is going to play a part in what I was talking about. But keep going. How they gentrified the neighborhood.
Right, yeah. Okay, yeah. So Inglewood. SoFi, it starts getting constructed and people start getting pushed out to the valley, San Fernando.
Yeah.
Because there's nowhere else to relocate.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can go back to LA's history. You can go back all the way to, the 50s with Dodger Stadium and the Chavez Ravine, where, you had Latino families there in that area in Echo Park. And all of a sudden, these big real estate, project comes in, and you have to relocate all these people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of left stranded, to what was home with them.
Yeah.
And now we just know that place, as Dodger Stadium.
Tell me they doing the same thing in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's the reason why I'm talking about this is because USC is, I would say, a product of that in a sense, especially with the African American community that was around here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's completely different.
Yeah.
Especially, I think you're going to start seeing, like what I'm accustomed to seeing at USC is more and more south of MLK Boulevard, right?
Okay.
It's complete, like, especially because I remember this place before the Village was even built.
Mm-hmm.
So, my dad, when he first immigrated here, he lived on 28th and Hoover.
Okay.
First place, like around Hoover and Adam. That was the first place he was. And, he has stories. He tells me stuff.
Yeah.
He came here in the middle of the LA riots in 92 when Rodney King's beating.
Wow.
Imagine this guy coming from Africa, right?
Don't know what the fuck going on.
And there's cars on fire. He's like, this is America?
This is America.
Yeah, like literally.
Don't get me. Like, no, I might get copyrighted.
He said, I'm going to get copyright on that. Yeah, so like, just imagine that, right? He's coming in the midst, like, March of '92, and he's seeing all this, shit going around him. And
Yeah.
it's, and that was a big moment in LA's history, I would say too. It really, and not even LA, but just
in history of America,
right?
as a whole.
And we saw it in 2020 as well, with George, and
Mhm.
it's something that obviously, like we were talking about history, repeating itself in
Yeah.
America. Well, there you go. That's another product of that. And but yeah, no, gentrification is really big in LA, and I think in other major cities as well. I probably don't have as much knowledge on that, but I know for sure here. I can tell you, Clippers are making a stadium now in Inglewood. I mean, Lord knows what's happening there now.
Yeah, and they show like, oh yeah, we're getting these neighborhoods are getting better. These neighborhoods are getting better.
Right.
But they never say how they're getting better.
Oh yeah.
They aren't going in helping the fucking community.
Yeah.
They're going in and they're just exterminating the fucking community.
Literally.
It's like a genocide without like killing people.
No, seriously.
If I understand what genocide is the right way. But like they're going in and they're just removing these people from their homes and just breaking down the homes. These motherfuckers have no consciousness. Like
None.
they don't care.
Yeah.
Money is what drives these people.
In this country.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Capitalism was a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
do you know what Black Friday means?
Go ahead.
Bruh, Johnny Gadam taught me this.
Okay.
So he said, companies have a chart, and it marks like their profits. Like they understand what their profits are. Like they can look at it like over the course of the year and shit. You know, this is getting closer to the end of the year. They want to start closing out, and if they ain't met them deadlines, not even deadline, but them
The quarter,
goals, the quarter goals, they got to find a way to make extra profit. So if the profit is in the red, it doesn't exist. So
right.
it's elastic. That's the math 118 right there.
Okay,
Some
that's
business
118
math,
right there.
yeah.
Geski.
But it's elastic, so they're not pushing through and they're losing money. Like
Yeah.
they paying for all this shit and it's getting sold, but it's not covering the cost of what it costs to make it or ship it or whatever. So they like, damn, how we gonna get in the black, which is the profit margin?
Right.
So what they do is they drive all these prices low. I'll tell you about the marketing scheme they do for that too that he taught me.
Mm-hmm.
They drive these market prices low so they can boost sales.
Got you.
So it's like okay, I can't get a few people to buy a lot, so I'm going to get a lot of people to buy a little.
Mm-hmm.
The more people you can bring in with these low prices, boom, 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 it starts to shoot up through the roof. So now they in the Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But he also taught me, he said, what did he say? He was like, these prices aren't even really as low as we think they are.
Right.
Because what they do right before Black Friday, they boost the price of the item up, and then they put the discount.
Yeah.
So he was like, say like a scooter costs $300.
Mm-hmm.
50% off, that's $150.
Yeah.
They would be losing way too much money.
Right.
So what they do is
They're gonna up it a little bit.
they up the price from $300 to like $500, and then take 50% off, quote unquote.
Yep.
So instead of
crazy.
it being like an actual $250 off,
Yeah.
they only took $50 off because the scooter was, you know what I'm saying, it was
Yeah.
$300 initially. So
And people running over people in convenience stores.
yeah, and
I mean, come
and they
on,
just
man.
turn against each other, and it's
Yeah.
so we learn how to desensitize people to these like nigga
yeah.
these brash acts. That is insane.
Yeah,
that-
you've seen those videos.
How many
bruh.
people
Like,
die on Black Friday? That's what I want to
fighting
know.
over
is-
TVs and
That's
everything.
the purge right there.
Oh yeah,
It's crazy.
I mean that's how you manipulate the public. That's what it is. And
The
I mean,
news, social media.
the
instant
1% run this
gratification,
country,
bro.
bro. Like
Man, bro,
I've
that's
been
what
saying
I'm trying
this.
to get on their level.
No, literally.
I try to get. I just want to get to a place where it's like, I know I'm good and I know I can give back.
My thing is, if you're honest, if you have integrity, if people are able to like you, right,
Yeah.
and if you have a work ethic, you'll be fine.
You're good.
Yeah.
It just may not be happening as fast as you
No.
expect it to, but
Yeah.
you're gonna be fine.
It
Because-
takes 1 year.
Yeah, your entire life changes
Your
in a
whole
year.
life.
Your
Yeah.
entire life changes in a year.
Yeah, you can make 13 startups, but if one takes off,
Bro, you good.
that's it.
I'm saying it take. Oh, this is
just
one
takes
thing I love
one.
to say. If you breaking into marble,
Mm-hmm.
it's not gonna break on the first hit,
No,
but it will break on the last.
it will.
And it wasn't the last hit that did it. It was the 99 other hits that you did right
Right.
before the 100.
Yeah.
And then the 100 was like, boom,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, and I shouldn't be the one talking about like success, because I haven't gone there yet.
But what
Everybody-
do you label as success?
Well, I mean, I have my own personal goals of what success is, right?
Okay.
And that, to me, that's being able to provide for your family,
Okay.
right? Not your kids not needing to be able to like stress out about wealth,
anything.
right? Yeah, like their life is covered, and so are their kids, right? That to me is like what success is, right? It's not even living a comfortable life, but it's being able to provide as a man,
Okay.
right? And there's only so much you can do
Mhm.
with money. That's why, to me at least, like I want to like travel, explore the world more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a bucket list where places you want
Yeah,
to go?
like even for here, I just wrote down a list of like just cities that came
Yeah.
to mind. I don't know much about California, but
Uh-huh.
Santa Fe, San
Santa Fe?
Diego, just shit. I went to Santa Fe last week, and I played football. It was beautiful. Actually, a few days ago on
Wow.
Sunday, I went to Santa Fe so I could play football.
New Mexico?
No,
Oh.
California. I got to start with California
Oh,
first.
okay. I was like
So I wanna
Santa
go-
Fe.
Yeah, I want to go up and down the coast.
Okay.
And then like as I get older, like even for like spring break, me and my roommate, we're gonna go somewhere. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We just want to fly somewhere. We're not gonna go home, but we want to go somewhere. Because it's like you don't get to where you want to be unless you start. So one thing I wanted to tell you be careful of is when you're thinking about success, don't think of it as I can't live until I get it. You gotta live
No,
now.
you gotta live.
There
now.
we go. So
I'm-
you understand it.
Come on,
All right,
man.
good, because
Yeah,
you get
come
it. A
on,
lot of
bro,
people
yeah.
don't get it. They'll be
No,
like,
I know.
oh, I can't go outside until I get this. Nigga,
Yeah.
you never gonna make it outside.
You don't want to get stuck in that cycle of where I mean, there's nothing wrong working a 9 to 5. I'm just saying, like in a sense of like you just wait
The
till you
rat
retire.
race. Bro,
and
these
it
people, oh my God, people, I'm
You're
sorry.
not- yeah.
It's crazy. I'm sorry to cut you off, but people are like, oh, internship this, internship that, job
Yeah.
this, job that.
Yeah.
Nigga, we 18. This is the freest you ever gonna be. Fuck
have
an
fun.
internship, bro. Like,
Yeah.
find ways to make money, but get like small jobs that's easy to quit. You can't go to do an internship at a big company and then quit, because as much as it may not seem like you a big factor, you are a huge factor at that company because you
Yeah.
low-key kind of free labor. They
Yeah.
don't got to worry about like paying your insurance if some shit happened
Yeah.
to you. So like you are an essential worker at that place. And once
You
you
are.
get that role and responsibility, that's when they got you.
Right.
They
And-
like, go ahead. They built,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. They built familiarity with you in the company. And that's why they give the job offer 2-3 years after you've been internship
Mm-hmm.
in there for so long. Nigga, go work at the coffee shop, take your paycheck, split it in half, put half in the savings, put half somewhere else, live below your means. Nigga, go to the dining hall, get something to eat. I'm not saying don't splurge at all. Go get you a little something from Wingstop here and there, a little $15, $20 meal. But like,
Yeah.
go get these small little jobs that you can quit at any time. Nobody's
Right.
gonna care if you quit these jobs because you're easy to replace. So you should be able
Yeah.
to work here, be like, man, I learned this on this job. I learned this working at Starbucks, this, and that. I know how to make coffee. I learned how to talk to people. I know how to do this, and they paid me at the same time.
Right.
It's not always labor.
Yeah.
You take that and you utilize that, and then you start working towards your goals now. Like people ask me, what do you do when you get out of college? This, and that. Where do you want to work at? Nigga, I hope I ain't working for somebody else other than myself.
Yeah.
And the only way I'm gonna get there is if I put that mindset into my head now and start chasing it right now. I
Right.
got the podcast going. I don't know. This could be one of the biggest podcasts in
Who
a year.
knows?
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It can blow
literally.
up in a year.
Exactly.
But I want to have this as, dang, I'm putting this in the universe. Yeah, I like this. But I'm using this as like my driver. Like this is my car. This is getting me from A to B.
Right.
This is giving me something to talk to people about. You can be as ambitious as you want, connect, network, all you want. But if you don't have anything to offer, these people aren't going to remember you. If somebody meets me, yeah, they're going to have a good time. They're going to know me the next time they see me. But if I don't offer them to stay connected with me without me having to talk to them,
Right.
they're going to forget me. I'm going to perish because they meet so many different people. So if I say, oh, my name is Austin Enos, I've done this, and this, they be like, okay. And I'll be like, I have a podcast. And they go, oh, okay, so he's doing something for himself.
Right.
He wants to help himself. So once people see you helping yourself, they're going to be more inclined to help you. So you might not want to work for them. You might not want a job, but they're going to be like, okay, I have a friend that does this.
Mhm.
You can work here and you can get people on the podcast here. You can do this. This is a start here. So once you get there, it's not like you don't have to play for that team. You don't have to work at that job. They give you the connection, you utilize it, and then something builds from there. And at the same time that you're doing all of that, you building yourself at the same time. You don't always have to work for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You don't always have to go get this internship.
But it's good to learn, though.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Because I think
Yeah.
you need that in the sense of,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're going to start your own business, wouldn't you know what the insides is like, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you get these jobs, but make sure you tailoring the job to something
You got to be open-minded.
you don't get attached to it.
Yeah.
Stay detached from it, but also be willing to learn and know when enough is enough.
Right.
A lot of people don't know when enough is
You got to understand
enough.
your value.
Yeah,
And I can touch on that
Go ahead.
because one thing we learned, at least my economics professor now in 203, he teaches me at least, is you have to understand your value in a sense in the job market, because what you're getting paid, your value is 3 times more than that.
Yeah.
The company's going to profit off you
Yeah, no matter what.
no matter what.
Just you sitting in chairs,
Yeah.
probably. They may
So-
say, if you don't come to work, you're not going
Right.
to get paid, nigga.
If I make 6 figures at, let's say, some corporate firm, right?
They making
My-
7, 8 of them bitches.
My value's probably 300, 400K.
Yeah.
Because what I'm bringing in, right?
Yeah.
Commission doesn't justify,
Who you are.
right?
They
and
use that
what
like
my worth
grades.
is,
Go ahead.
right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like grades. Go ahead.
Literally, yeah. And I can speak as well for IB, right?
Okay.
Let's say, you make $1 billion, merger, right?
Yeah.
If I'm getting 1% of that, but I was the one on the phone, I was doing all this work for this, for this to fall through and everything. It doesn't really justify, your effort, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't measure that.
Yeah.
So I feel like in that sense, people have to understand what their value is. And that's something my dad always taught me. You have to understand that you can't get, it's a business at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. Even a university is a business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the tuition we're paying. You think that
Nigga,
just
like, are you dead?
right?
Bitch ass nigga. Shit wasn't
Exactly.
that high last
Literally.
year, nigga.
I mean, it's
Well,
everything
I can't
runs.
say too much though, because I'm using they shit.
Yeah.
So tuition not that bad.
Yeah, no, tuition.
But
not
I'm
bad.
winking
Yeah.
at Johnny, like when I
Yeah.
say that tuition is really bad.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
nah,
yeah.
but
No, we
just-
love President Folk, and
Yeah,
everybody
she
here.
cool, alright, yeah. Endorse, fight on.
Yeah,
USC,
fight on.
Trojans, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but you have to get that mindset to where how things are ran,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can look at a lot of different places that you don't think is a business, and it can be a university.
Mm-hmm.
It can,
Grocery stores.
right? Even
Uber.
Washington, man.
Nigga,
I
those
mean,
little ass scooters y'all be riding.
oh, come on, man.
$1 billion. Nigga sitting on his ass. He probably
Yeah.
got 50 of them bitches at his house right now. Y'all
Literally.
paying for his tuition. Y'all paying for his mortgage. Y'all paying for everything he got. It's the
Yeah.
small shit. That's the type of shit I
Yeah.
want to tap into.
Like,
That's what I need to start tapping into.
And I tap one thing I peep is when we're at the football games and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Look how many sponsorships there are.
Man,
Just observe that.
think of how much people be like, oh, this school has so much money.
Yeah.
Think of what we not paying for, though.
Yeah.
It's the shit that we not paying for because these companies are going to give you stuff because it's like, is that bear marketing? What is it called? Is that bearish marketing?
Bear market.
Yeah,
I mean,
bear-
bear market is like when it's booming. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I'm talking about a marketing tactic. I forget what it's called, but it's like if you just hammer it right in front of people, they can see it,
Yeah.
and that's what makes them like want to go buy it. So a lot of people like when you see big ass mascots, you go,
Mhm.
oh shit,
Right.
I want to go buy that now.
Yeah.
That's the type of shit that they use. So boom, so you see all these fireworks and stuff like that, and people are interested in that. People are gonna know. Well, the people at the companies know it's gonna grasp somebody's attention, and as long as it gets one person's attention, boom, we got at least 50 other people because they gonna want to share it. People want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just gonna give it to us because we can market and just put it in the stadium, and we don't have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're saving so much money. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much
I mean,
we're not paying for.
Yeah, like you just observe the people that sit in the front. Like I think a good explanation when we were at the USC and UCLA game, the
Yeah.
guy that was sitting in front of us
Dude, that
with the
shit was
shades, right?
Insane.
You
He
know,
just looked
how
like
did-
he ain't have a care in the world.
How did he get in the front row? What does he do?
He
That's something I ask myself, right?
People like that.
Right,
You don't really know him, but you know he got some.
right.
They not too flashy with it.
Yeah,
He can have a $50,000 watch on, but you wouldn't know, nigga, because you don't be
How
up
it-
on that.
right.
But I be clocking that sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's just that's something we I think we need to start observing, especially if you want to get into that realm of wanting to be successful. It's like you got to see people that are actually up there, right? Like Austin does podcasts. What's the #1 podcast right now, right?
Couldn't tell you.
You,
Me.
oh,
I'm
that's you.
#1
That's you.
podcast.
All right. Yeah. No.
Yeah, but no.
Joe Rogan don't got shit on you.
Yeah, no. Joe Rogan gonna email me soon and be like, "Hey, I heard that shit you was talking."
Okay. No, and you need that confidence. I'm serious.
That's type of stuff I think about, bro. Because it's like, I just love when I get feedback on these two, because it made me want to get up and do it. I'll be like, I can't stop. Because personal battles, this and that. So to be like, damn, is this really working? But when people like, Austin, this is actually helping me, then I'm like, I got a calling.
Yeah.
This is bigger than me. And I'm not saying I'm putting my problems aside.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, I got to get my own head out of my own ass.
Yep.
And look up and be like, Austin, you're helping people. You're in a position where you got to be the person that says, all right, I'm going to buckle down and do this.
Yeah.
It takes those sacrifices to be a man for others. That's what I went to a Jesuit school. That's what it was called. And it was all about being a man for others.
Yeah.
And so they like, fuck what you need and go help somebody else, because your problems aren't as big on a scale as they may seem as somebody else's problems. Yeah. And if you can go and solve 50 other people's problems, if you can go solve 50 other people's problems and your problem's not solved after that, you need to go to the doctor and get some help. It's deeper than what you think, bro. Right. So like, you should be able to, once you give, you can get back in return.
Yeah.
I feel so good after I post these episodes and people get back to me like, man, it's really helping, man. Really, I'm really listening. Yeah. Because when I post, I'm like, ain't nobody gonna listen to this shit. Do people like really listen to podcasts? Like, I didn't really know.
Right, yeah.
But people like, I never listened to a podcast, but since you posted it and you grasped my attention, I'm into it now. Now I really want to learn more. You're really helping me. So it's up to me now to keep learning information, keep going out to get this experience, keep putting myself in positions where I can't, like, I'm putting myself where I want to be.
Right.
Because I have a responsibility to take care of others in a sense. And I don't want to be like, oh, I'm the one driving it. But I have a responsibility in people's lives now, I believe. And that's what keeps me going, to feel like, okay, Austin, we can't sit down. We can't settle. We got to keep going and we got to keep doing. And no matter how down you get, you can figure that shit out on the way there. You can figure it out in the conversation. You can figure it out just talking. But, like, come on. We got to, if we want to be where we want to be at, we got to be doing it.
And you got to execute.
Yeah, and I'm so fortunate to have these people that believe in me.
Yeah.
Okay, if they believe in me, it's time for me to believe in myself as well.
Yeah. Do you see growth?
Yeah.
From like a year and stuff?
Bruh.
Like from where you were and everything?
Where I was a year ago.
Yeah.
Let me see where a year ago today. I can go to my Google Photos and see where I was a year ago today.
Because I can speak volumes. Like even
Go ahead. I'll tell you, and I'll look this up.
Right. And it's amazing to see how much, I believe it, like this world is a cause and effect world. Right? Yeah. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out of it. And boy, I mean, just like where, like I did not know, where I was going to end up going to school, whether I was going to stay there or, wherever I was going to end up. But I had a concise and like tangible plan, right? Yeah. And I just went and, followed through with it. And that feeling, when whether it's that acceptance letter, getting awarded some academic letter, it can be really anything, but just knowing that your input comes with a great output, it's very rewarding, and it gets you more hungry, to be honest with you, because you want to keep chasing.
Oh, I'll tell you about that too. I'll tell you how that works. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
Oh, okay. So it's like, all right. So basically how the brain works is when you get this big rush of dopamine after doing this certain action, your brain goes, oh shit.
Right.
I like that. And all it takes is one time. And that's the difference between people that aren't successful and people that are successful. They keep chasing that feeling. Who was the example? The person was like, I don't know, just think about a show business person. Like people that like really get successful at movies. They go to this audition. Like say like Denzel Washington goes to an audition. All right. Goes to an audition. This is his first audition. And he does great. Now that he's got that dopamine rush, he's like, oh shit, I did so good. He starts to look for ways to recreate that moment. Yeah. So that's what drives them and gives them everything that they need. They're like, yeah, I need to do this again. I need to do this again. Boom. That's like
Yeah.
me recording these fucking podcasts. I'm like,
Look,
that
yep,
was such a great episode.
yep,
Got to do it again. So I start. What can I learn?
Right.
What can I learn? Who can I talk to? What can I talk about?
yeah.
Even if I don't know what I'm gonna talk about,
It's a muse.
I gotta do it. You just gotta
Yeah.
do it, and that's what drives me. And you just
Yeah.
gotta just find what drives you. What drives you, Johnny?
What drives me?
What drives you, Johnny?
I mean, man, my family.
Yeah,
I mean, just seeing their smile on their
that's
faces,
a commonality that I see a lot.
man. Yeah.
But go ahead, your family, seeing the
Yeah,
smile on their faces.
just seeing my mom smile,
Mhm.
my dad saying I'm proud of you.
That's beautiful.
That to me is a world in the
Yeah.
sense of that's what makes me want to go even more. It's not even I'm not doing this for them obviously, but in a sense I want to make them proud, right?
Yeah, I get that.
You know, it's not like they're choosing, you know, what I want to study, cuz everybody in my family thought I was going to be an engineer. Everybody when they said, you know, economics,
Bro.
like what?
Yeah, my math teacher kept telling me to be an engineer
Yeah, oh yeah.
because I just love math.
yeah.
Thank you, Miss Lineweber. I'm still doing really good at math, but
Right, because you know my dad worked at Viterbi here at like Marina Del Rey off
Wow,
campus for
that's
12
sweet.
years. That's why we were here in LA.
that's tough.
Yeah, so it's a full circle being here because you know I would have had free tuition if he was here for 15 years, but he was only here for 12.
It's such a big circle moment because my granddad was born here
Really?
in East LA,
There you go.
and then he moved to Detroit, and then his dad, my great granddad, he didn't want to move to Detroit, so he stayed here.
Yeah.
But we ended up burying him in Detroit,
Uh huh.
but not a nigga back through me.
Crazy.
You know, it's like insane how
Crazy.
it's insane how this shit goes. So like, we like to think that I'm gonna close the episode. We've been here like an hour.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can keep going all day.
Yeah, nah, for real. We
folks.
gonna have
Like
to-
we can do this all day.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. Oh damn, I lost. No. It was like it's crazy how we think like a lot of the things that we do are like, oh, I'm so fortunate that this happened. This just so happened to happen. No. Nigga. My great granddad was born here, or they came here, whatever. The fucking bloodline was in California.
Yep.
And ended up getting to Detroit. And like growing up, I always wanted to go to California. I didn't know why. I just wanted to go. And I stopped thinking about it for a while. Now I'm back and I'm living here. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's crazy how, just think about the things you asked for as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And when things happen, instead of thinking of it as a new event, be like, damn, is this something I prayed for when I was younger?
Yeah.
Is this something I was really looking for when I was younger?
Right.
And now it has manifested itself in your life.
Yeah.
Because things take time
It does.
and things are going to happen unexpectedly. Once you stop thinking about them, that's when they pop the fuck up.
Yep.
That's when it starts to happen. So it's great to be grateful for the blessings in your life and stuff and think of them as new events and stuff. But that can be tiring because you begin to grow accustomed to being like, oh, damn, when is a new event going to come? Start to think about it as, I already asked for this. And now it's coming to me.
Yeah.
And then you feel more fulfilled because you're like, oh, my God. I asked for so much else. I asked for so much more. And if this came and I asked for it this long ago, think about what's coming next.
Yeah.
And it makes you just feel so, it just makes you feel so excited.
Right.
'Cause
And you enjoy the roller coaster ride.
yeah.
That's what it
It's
is.
like a wave of emotions.
Right.
It's like,
Because it's not always going to be up.
it's not.
It's not.
And yeah, that's like I was saying, the dopamine crash. The higher you get on that dopamine,
Yeah.
the harder it's going to crash.
Right.
But as long as it's healthy dopamine, you should be fine.
Yep.
Unless you're getting like drunk as fuck and high.
Oh yeah.
You-
That's for another.
That's another,
episode.
yeah, that's another episode. We're going to close it up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Do
Thank you all
have-
for listening, man.
Do you have anything like a quote or anything that you live by that you can say today, or like just something
Oh
that
man.
when shit get hard, you just be like, boom, that's my quote. That's what I say, and then everything's straight.
Probably for my dad,
Okay, go ahead.
and it's just follow wherever the river takes you.
Tight.
Don't fight upstream because it wasn't meant for you. You're not a salmon. So yeah.
I like that. Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for being on and thank you for listening.
No, thank you. Yeah,
All right.
I'd love to come back here, man.
All right, bet.
Yeah.
You always looking on. You
All right.
You're my best friend.
Appreciate it,
All right,
Austin. Yeah.
no problem.